Jasper's perfectly polished smile vanished the second the lawyer said I got Leo's old city apartment. He'd called it a pigeon-infested closet for years. His face turned to stone when he realized the country estate and the $200 million couldn't save him from what was coming. 3 days later, I found the reason he looked like he'd seen his own ghost. If you're watching this, hit subscribe and tell me where you're tuning in from. Let me start at the beginning and tell you how a 72-year-old father ended up proving his daughter was murdered when the world thought it was just a terrible tragedy. Last month, my Leo was found at the bottom of her fire escape. Fall, they said. No witnesses. The police called it a tragic accident. Jasper cried such pretty tears at the memorial, playing the heartbroken husband perfectly in a suit that cost more than my car. I knew something was wrong when he insisted on a closed casket. It's what she would have wanted, he'd whispered, dabbing his eyes with a silk handkerchief. Leo had a huge circle of friends who loved her, but Jasper said he was too broken for a big crowd. The will reading was even weirder. Leo's lawyer, Ms. Gupta, seemed confused reading the terms. The main estate, the art galleries Leo built from nothing, the country home, the stocks, all went to Jasper. Fine. He was her spouse. But then came the curveball. To my father, Arthur Finch, I leave the city apartment on Elm Street and all its contents. He will understand its importance. I hadn't stepped foot in that place in a decade. Leo bought it as her first studio but outgrew it. Jasper always sneered at it, calling it quaint, in a way that made it sound dirty. What on earth do I need with a dusty old studio? I asked Ms. Gupta after everyone left. Her face was deadly serious. Leo was very specific that you go there alone, Mr. Finch. She said you'd know why. Jasper was suddenly very eager to help me visit the apartment. He even offered to have it professionally cleaned, but something in his voice made me say no. If Leo left me a message, I needed to find it exactly as she left it. The drive into the city gave me too much time to think about the daughter I thought I knew. Leo had become secretive lately, always saying she was just busy with work when I asked. She'd stopped our weekly museum trips, avoiding family. I'd blamed Jasper's influence, but now, I wondered. The apartment was on the top floor of a quiet old building. It looked the same. Brick walls, big north-facing windows, that squeaky floorboard by the door. But when I stepped inside, the air felt occupied. Not empty. Someone had been here. Recently. The kettle on the stove was still warm. I stood there staring at it. That kettle hadn't been used since Leo died weeks ago. Unless a phantom was making tea, someone had been here. The smart move was to call the cops. Instead, I did what any stubborn old man would do. I made a cup of tea and started looking. Hey, if they were going to break in, the least they could do was leave good tea. They did. The main room seemed normal, except Leo's drafting table was angled toward the door, like someone was using it to watch the hallway. A small camera sat beside it, next to a notebook filled with times and dates written in Leo's messy handwriting. The entries went back months. The last one was from the night she died. New hobby, Leo? I mumbled, flipping pages. My artist daughter was playing spy. But spying on who? I found the answer in her bedroom closet. Taped behind a loose vent cover was a metal flash drive. But not just any drive. It was labeled Project Nightingale. I plugged it into my old laptop. It was filled with sound recordings, scanned documents, and pictures. But not just any pictures. Photos of Jasper meeting with people in dark alleys and warehouses. Photos of crates being loaded onto trucks. All taken from a distance, all dated. Leo had been investigating her own husband. The most recent photo was time-stamped the day before she died. Jasper was handing an envelope to a man whose face I knew from the news. Silas Vance, a man wanted for smuggling stolen artifacts. I sat down hard, the pieces crashing together. Leo's successful art business was a front for something ugly. Jasper wasn't the grieving widower. He was the ringleader. And Leo had figured it out. The sound of the elevator ding down the hall made me freeze. Someone was coming. I yanked the drive out, shoved it in my pocket, and made it to the living room just as the apartment door swung open. Jasper walked in, not looking sad at all. He moved like he owned the place, which he didn't. "Hello, Jasper," I said calmly. "Fancy meeting you here." He jumped a mile, his hand flying to his heart. "Arthur," I thought. "The super said you weren't coming until tomorrow." "Clearly," I said, nodding at the warm kettle. "Someone was expecting me." His eyes darted around the room. I could see his brain working overtime. Jasper had always been handsome in a sharp, cold way. But today he looked nervous, like a man who hadn't slept in weeks. "I've been coming here to feel close to her," he said, fake tears welling up instantly. "This was our special project space." "Funny," I said. "She always said you hated this place. Said you called it her dirty little secret." I walked to the drafting table, picking up the camera. He flinched. "What were you two watching for?" His laugh was too sharp. "We weren't watching anything. We just liked the light." "With a camera and a logbook." I held up the notebook. "Leo was tracking every time someone came to this floor. Including you. 8 visits, always after midnight, never staying long." The tears vanished. Jasper's mask slipped, and I saw the real man underneath. "You have no idea what you're messing with, Arthur. Conspiracy theories." "Yes. Or maybe theories about smuggling stolen treasures." I pulled the drive from my pocket. "I found her little project. Nightingale." He went perfectly still. When he spoke again, his voice was flat and cold. "You need to stop digging. For your own health." "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact," he hissed. "From someone who knows how this ends." Leo was about to make a huge mistake. One that would have ruined everything we built. The way he said mistake made my skin crawl. "Are you saying my daughter's death wasn't an accident?" He smiled. And for the first time it was a real, cruel smile. "I'm saying that accidents happen to people who stick their nose where it doesn't belong." After he left, I sat in the quiet, my heart pounding. Leo hadn't just been suspicious. She'd been building a case. All this evidence carefully gathered. She was going to expose him. But Jasper found out. And now he gets everything. I went to call the police, then stopped. What did I really have? Some photos and a drive. The word of an old man against a rich, powerful husband. I needed more. And I had a feeling Leo had left more than just a drive in this apartment. The storage locker in the basement was where Leo always hid her best childhood art. Her secret gallery, she called it. I'd always known about it. Some habits die hard. The new keypad lock on the locker door was definitely not original. Hidden behind a false wall of pipes was a sleek, modern safe. Leo's fingerprint wouldn't work now, but she'd always been one for old-school backups. I found the backup key exactly where I thought I would, inside a fake rock in the building's tiny courtyard garden. She'd shown me that spot when she was 10, for hiding secret treasures. The safe contained everything. Shipping manifests showing fake art being used to smuggle real antiquities. Emails detailing deals with criminals. And a detailed journal Leo kept, showing how Jasper had slowly twisted her legitimate business into a criminal operation. But the real find was Leo's tablet, still charged and waiting. Video diaries, audio files, and a full report she was preparing for the art theft unit. The last video was from the day she died. Leo looked tired but determined. "If you're watching this, Dad, it means I didn't make it. Jasper doesn't know about this safe, but if I'm gone, he'll tear this place apart looking for what I've found." She took a deep breath. "He threatened you, Dad. He said if I went to the authorities, his partners would make you disappear. I couldn't let that happen." She paused, using that same stubborn look she'd had since she was 5. "So I made a different plan. I've set up a dead man switch. If I don't check in every 12 hours, all this evidence gets sent to the FBI. Jasper will be arrested and you'll be safe. Just stay away from the country house until it's over." She'd recorded this just hours before her accident. I sat back stunned. My daughter had set a trap to protect me and bring down her husband. Except it hadn't sprung. Jasper was still free, which meant her system had failed. And I was now holding the evidence that could blow this whole thing wide open. The sound of a van pulling up outside made me jump. Through the basement window, I saw men in jumpsuits getting out, moving with a purpose that wasn't friendly. Jasper had decided I was a problem. I had maybe a minute. I grabbed the tablet, stuffed the most important papers into my bag, and did something I hadn't done in 50 years. I squeezed out the tiny basement window. Thank goodness for a loose diet and stubbornness. Getting back in would be a problem if I survived that long. The alley behind the building was my only way out. Leo and I had walked it 100 times when she lived here. Back when she was just my girl with a paintbrush, not a target. From behind a dumpster, I watched Jasper direct his crew. They moved like pros, sweeping the building. Not thugs. Professionals. One of them found the open safe in minutes. Jasper's scream of rage echoed down the alley. She has it all. The tablet, the manifests, everything. Find him before he gets to the cops. The man he was yelling at must have asked why they just didn't handle me, because Jasper's answer was a gift. Because we don't know what triggers Leo set up. If her old man dies, it might send everything to the FBI automatically. We find the evidence first. Then we make it look like he fell down the stairs. Just like we did with her. There it was. A confession shouted into the night. I'd heard enough. Time to see if Leo's plan had a plan B. The alley led to a busy street. My old car was parked blocks away. It wouldn't outrun them, but maybe it didn't have to. Leo was paranoid about tech, so the tablet bag had a cheap burner phone. The contacts were FBI Agent Miller, backup, and Dad. Called FBI first. Miller. A no-nonsense voice answered. Agent Miller. My name is Arthur Finch. My daughter Leo was supposed to meet with you about stolen artifacts. Long pause. Mr. Finch. I'm sorry for your loss. But that meeting was postponed indefinitely. Why? I can't discuss an ongoing investigation, sir. But if you have information we can schedule. Agent Miller, I cut in. I'm hiding in an alley while my son-in-law's hired team searches my daughter's apartment for evidence that he murdered her. I don't think we can schedule. Another longer pause. I could hear him moving. Where are you right now, Mr. Finch? I gave him my location and a quick rundown. His breathing changed. Stay on the line. Keep moving toward the main road. Do not engage. We're coming to you. We've been after Jasper Finch for a year, but our investigation stalled after Leo's death. If you have her files. Agent, she said Jasper threatened to kill me if she talked. Does that sound like an accident to you? No, sir. Does not. Just keep moving. Through the alley I saw flashlights. They were coming. I had one more call to make. I dialed Dad. A voice answered on the first ring. Arthur. Are you okay? Leo. My knees almost buckled. You're supposed to be. I am. Officially. And I need to stay that way for a few more hours. Are you safe? The relief was overwhelming. Safe. I'm in a dirty alley while your husband's goons hunt me. How is this the plan? It wasn't. You weren't supposed to go there until tomorrow after the arrests. He wasn't supposed to know. Her voice was frantic. Dad, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this. Where are you? Safe house. I've been working with the FBI for months. The fall was staged to make Jasper think I was gone. It was supposed to make him get careless. I could hear vehicles. Leo, how many people are involved? He brought an army. His organization moves stolen art and antiquities for some very dangerous collectors. They've silenced people for less than what you know. Wonderful. But the cavalry is coming, Dad. I'm tracking your phone. Feds are seconds away. Just get to the main road. Trust no one until you see Agent Miller. He's tall, bald, and he'll know the password Nightingale. Up ahead red and blue lights flashed. Lots of them. Leo, one thing. Your video. It sounded like a goodbye. She was quiet for a moment. Because I wasn't sure it would work. Jasper had people watching me. If they'd caught me before the feds could grab me. Her voice broke. I needed you to know I did it to protect you. Even if you hated me for the lie. Footsteps were close. I could never hate you, Leo. But next time, a little warning. She gave a wet laugh. Deal. Now go. The flashing lights were right there. I was about to find out if this worked. Agent Miller was exactly as described. Tall, bald, and all business. Mr. Finch, we need to get you out of here. Now. He gestured to a sedan. Your daughter's evidence is bigger than we thought. This isn't just about art theft. I held the bag tight. What is it, then? He looked at his partner, Agent Wright. Mr. Finch, Jasper isn't just a smuggler. He's been moving conflict diamonds and weapons using fake art shipments. This is international. We're talking war criminals. He stared. My son-in-law is a war criminal. According to Leo's intel, he's been working for his uncle's syndicate since before he met your daughter. He married her to use her galleries and her reputation as cover. Wright showed me photos on a tablet. Jasper with men who looked like they belonged in a nightmare. He was playing a long game, gaining her trust, slowly replacing real art with his illegal shipments. Leo figured it out when she found guns hidden inside a statue. And that's when she called you. She was brave, Miller said. But by then, Jasper's network was huge. We needed to catch them all at once. Hence, the dramatic exit. The car pulled into a secure government garage. Inside a quiet room, Leo was waiting. I hugged her so tight. Then I scolded her for scaring me to death. I'm sorry, Dad. But we needed Jasper to think he'd won. To get sloppy. She pulled up files on a computer. And he did. Tonight, he's moving his biggest shipment yet. $75 million in uncut diamonds. Hidden in art crates. We're going to catch him red-handed. The plan was coming together, but something felt off. Jasper had seemed so shocked about the apartment inheritance. If he'd been planning to kill Leo anyway, why did he care? The answer came from Agent Wright. Mr. Finch, this isn't just about Jasper. His uncle's organization has infiltrated auction houses and museums worldwide. Leo's gallery was target number 7. A map lit up with red dots across the globe. Jasper was assigned to her because her shipping routes were perfect for their needs. You're saying my daughter was targeted? We're saying Victoria, Jasper Croft is a professional infiltrator. He's done this before. Twice that we know of. His previous wives. Both died in accidents after he'd established his operations within their businesses. Leo paled. You never told me that. We didn't want to overwhelm you, Miller said gently. But after tonight you need to know. Jasper's first wife died in a house fire. The second in a hiking fall. Both after he'd gained full control of their assets. Felt sick. So Leo was next. But Leo fought back, Wright said. And she had you. Leo stood up, agitated. Dad, the reason Jasper was so obsessed with the apartment wasn't just about the evidence I hid there. He thinks I hid the master list there. What master list? The list of every buyer, every smuggler, every fake identity his uncle's entire network uses. I told him I made it as insurance. But I never told him where it really was. Agent Wright's eyes went wide. This list exists. Oh, it exists, Leo said, looking at me with that clever glint she'd had since she was a kid. And it's not in the apartment. I hid it in the one place Jasper would never think to look because he thinks it's utterly worthless. I knew instantly. You hid it at my house. In the bird feeder, Dad. The one he always made fun of. The one he said attracted common pigeons. He'd never think to look there. Wright reached for her radio. We need a team at Mr. Finch's house now. Wait, Miller said. If they suspect, they'll tear it apart. Arthur, would they search your home? Thought about it. Jasper had visited maybe 3 times in 5 years. He'd spent each visit complaining about the clutter and the old people smell. He thought I was a boring, sentimental old man. No, I said. He thinks I'm a harmless old fool who feeds birds and watches TV. Then we have an advantage, Miller said. But we need to get that list before he figures it out. It's too dangerous, Leo said. I won't put Dad in the middle again. You're not putting me anywhere, I said. I'm walking right in there. Driving back to my own quiet house felt strange. FBI agents were everywhere, disguised as dog walkers and meter readers. To anyone watching, I was just a tired old man coming home. The bird feeder hung from the oak tree, ordinary and ignored. Inside, among the seeds, was a tiny waterproof capsule. Leo was right. It contained a microchip with names, numbers, routes, and bank accounts for a global smuggling ring. Your daughter is a genius, Agent Wright said over my earpiece as I downloaded the data. This is a gold mine. She gets it from her mother, I said. The stubbornness is from me. I was almost done when my doorbell rang. The voice in my ear was instant. Arthur, stay put. We have visual. Jasper. And he's not alone. Through the window, I saw Jasper on my porch with a well-dressed woman. He looked like he was selling insurance. But I was done hiding. Open the door. Jasper. This is a surprise. His smile was all warmth. Arthur. I hope we're not interrupting. This is my business associate, Miss Sterling. We had some questions about Leo's estate paperwork. Of course, come in. I stepped back. His eyes scanned my living room, looking for something. Miss Sterling was less subtle, her eyes cataloging everything. Arthur, Jasper began, sitting on my couch. I know today was a lot finding Leo's things. All that confusing business stuff. It was eye-opening, I agreed, pouring lemonade. Some of her papers were very revealing. His hand froze. Oh, shipping records. International deals. Very complex for an art gallery. Miss Sterling had stopped pretending to admire my bookshelf and was now standing behind my chair. Arthur, Jasper said, his voice losing its warmth. Some of those papers are sensitive. Corporate secrets. They need to be returned to the lawyers. I'm sure you're right, I said. In fact, I already gave everything to the FBI this afternoon. The silence was absolute. Jasper's mask didn't crack, but his eyes went dead. The FBI. They said there might be some irregularities. Something about international smuggling. I'm sure it's nothing. I took a sip of lemonade. Jasper's laugh was hollow. Arthur, you foolish old man. You have no idea what you've done. Miss Sterling moved closer, blocking my path to the door. I know I've helped catch the man who killed my daughter, I said calmly. Killed? Jasper's eyes went wide with fake shock. Arthur, she fell. She was pushed, Jasper. Or should I call you Jasper Croft? I understand that's your real name. His mask shattered. The grieving husband vanished, replaced by a cold, furious stranger. You stupid, sentimental old fool, he whispered. Do you know what you've cost me? Your freedom, I hope. Miss Sterling pulled out her phone, speaking in rapid Russian. Jasper stood up, pacing. Leo was supposed to die quietly. You were supposed to grieve quietly. None of this was supposed to happen. He picked up a photo of Leo from the mantel. It's ironic. Her love for you is what made her so easy to control, and what made her so difficult to manage in the end. Difficult how? He smiled a cruel, thin smile. She thought faking her death would protect you. She thought if I believed she was gone, I'd get greedy and make a mistake. But she never understood my family's business. He set the photo down gently. We don't leave witnesses, Arthur. We never have. Miss Sterling nodded. Whatever she'd arranged was done. The good news is, this will be over soon, Jasper said. The bad news is, you're going to have a terrible fall in your home. So sad. Before my accident, I said. Satisfy my curiosity. How long? The marriage. All of it. Jasper looked at Miss Sterling, who nodded. They had time. 10 years, he said. 3 years studying art history. 2 building my cover. 5 years of marriage, slowly taking control of her business, her contacts, her life. And you never loved her. Not even a little. For a split second, something like regret flashed in his eyes. She was brighter than I expected. There were moments I almost forgot the plan. Almost. But business is business. Miss Sterling moved toward me. Our chat was over. One more thing, I said quickly. If this was your plan for a decade, how did Leo figure it out? Jasper's smile was triumphant. She didn't figure it out, Arthur. We told her. Froze. What? 6 months ago, my uncle decided Leo was a liability. We told her everything. Who I was, what I'd done, what was going to happen to her. His eyes glittered. We wanted her to know her entire life was a lie. That her love was a joke. The cruelty was breathtaking. They didn't just want to kill her. They wanted to break her heart first. That's when she called the FBI, I whispered. That's when she signed her death warrant, Jasper corrected. And yours. Miss Sterling reached into her jacket. Closed my eyes. The sound wasn't a gunshot. It was my front door bursting open. FBI agents swarmed my living room. Jasper dove behind the sofa. Miss Sterling spun toward the agents, and I did the only sensible thing. I dropped to the floor. It was over in seconds. Handcuffs. Rights being read. Arthur. You okay? Miller helped me up. Just my ears ringing, I said, brushing off my pants. Your timing is excellent. Leo ran through the door and nearly tackled me with a hug. Dad. When I heard they were here. You thought your old man couldn't handle 2 international art smugglers. I scolded. I taught you better. She laughed, crying. You're right. I should have known. Agent Wright looked pleased. Mr. Finch, because of you, we've arrested Jasper, his associate, and are rolling up his entire network as we speak. The master list is everything we needed. This case is closed. I looked at Jasper in cuffs. The predator was finally caught. Jasper, I called. He looked up, pure hate in his eyes. Just one question. Did you ever, for 1 second, love my daughter? He stared for a long time. Something real flickered in his eyes. Yes, he said, his voice low. And it was my greatest weakness. As they led him away, I knew that was the only honest thing he'd ever said to me. Later on my back porch, Leo and I drank tea. So, what now? Yes. Now you go back to being a normal grandpa, she said. No more spies, no more smugglers. Sounds dull. She laughed. Most people want dull, Dad. Most people haven't uncovered an international crime ring this week. I sipped my tea. Leo, why really fake your death? Why not just witness protection? She grew quiet. Because Jasper told me that if I talked, his uncle would have you tortured to make me watch. I couldn't risk that, Dad. I couldn't. So you let me think you were dead instead. I chose to protect you the only way I knew how. I squeezed her hand. Next time we talk first. No more funerals. Deal. I looked at my peaceful backyard. It looked so ordinary. Jasper was right about one thing. I was just a harmless old man who fed birds and puttered in his garden. But he was wrong about everything else. Harmless doesn't mean powerless. And sometimes, the most dangerous enemy is the one who underestimates a father's love. Thanks for listening to Anon Voices. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share your own story in the comments. Your voice matters.